All right, first just an update on Maya. Maya Meredith had a great season, has had a great season, was playing well, averaging almost 13 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. But we had an MRI on, what's today, Tuesday, on Monday. And so she has a torn ACL, and she'll have surgery next week. And so we're going to support her. She'll get through this. She's been through this before. We've had other great players, Kendall Noble, we've had Micah Jones, Alexis Govan, not the exact same surgery, but we had other great players to go through these type of setbacks, and they've had great comebacks. And so I expect that Maya had the exact same thing. And the great thing is she has a great support staff around her, and she's got great teammates supporting her. And so there's no reason that she won't come back and be just as impactful, if not more so, than she was as she got her career started.
Coach, kind of sticking with that, obviously you haven't been afraid to use the bench this year. How do you try to, replace the production that she brought to you this season?
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, there's the points and the rebounds that I think we've got players that can score. We got players that can and have been lately stepping up, rebounding better. I think the area where Maya really helped us a lot, that we have to find a way to supplement that, is defensively. Like, she was just always in the passing lane, challenging or changing a shot, and she's got good speed and she's got good quickness, and so that length and speed combination makes her tough on defense. And so we'll have to we've got players that can add more, and so that's where we are. We'll just have to tweak how we're playing a little bit and be next man up.
Coach, obviously, first off, sorry to hear about Maya, wishing her speedy recovery, but without maybe singling out any specific players, are there any particular players you see really filling that mold to help replace her production and her output for the rest of the season?
I think it's mostly a team contribution. I do believe that Hope Savoria has been playing really well offensively. She's given us great spark coming in the game. She did again in the Old Dominion game. She's shooting the ball really well in practice, so I think she is the most obvious player to step in there and add to some of those offensive production. But I think there are other players that can do that as well. I mean, Jenna Walker and Teresa Faustino, Jordan Smith, they've all been working hard, and they can add as well. Then we'll need those other players that have been playing a little bit more. Selma Kulo and Gabby McBride both had good games, good fourth quarters against a good fourth quarter against Old Dominion. So I think we'll need them to continue to grow and be impactful that way on the boards. So the short answer is it won't be just one person. It'll be just like everything. It's going to be a team effort.
When you lose an impact player like Maya, how do you have confidence and keep the girls' heads up and keep their confidence that you guys all still have the same success that you have throughout the season?
Well, and that's a fair question, but at the same time, I use just as a snapshot the fourth quarter against Old Dominion. Old Dominion made a great run in the third quarter, cut the lead down to 3. In the fourth quarter, Maya didn't play, and Macy Blevins didn't play. And we extended the lead and won the ball game. And so this is a team, and we do have it's not one player. And while Maya's important and was having a great season and off to a tremendous start, we still win the games together. And so just taking that as an example, I think this team is still capable of competing at the top of this conference.
Obviously, it's not going to be this year, and everybody's different. But do you have any timetable for timetable to return to play?
No, I don't. No. Everybody's different. I know that she's motivated. I know that she's competitive, which helps because that makes her want to compete against the recovery. And so, and when she went through her other recovery with her labrum, it was more about pulling the reins in on her and keeping her so she didn't go too fast before she was ready to go. And so I think we'll probably be in a similar situation. But as far as the timetable, no. I mean, right now she's just trying to keep the swelling under control and get ready for her surgery next week.
All right, Coach, what was the team's initial reaction when you broke the news about Maya's injury?
Well, it wasn't as much of me breaking the news. I mean, they're a tight-knit group. They talk, and so they knew just about as fast as Maya knew. And they're all disappointed. Maya's an important part of the team. But, even on the bench at the Old Dominion game, I heard Gabby McBride say, hey, we're going to do this for Maya. And so I think that Maya is still an important part of this team. She still has an impact on this team. Even though she's not on the court, she still will be able to be impactful on the bench and in the locker room and on the bus and at practice and being present. And the other young ladies, the other players, they're ready. We just got to find a different way to get the same result.
Coach, I know that you've had a lot to deal with when it comes to Maya, but keep thinking on the FAU.
Yeah.
What's it been looking like heading down to Boca?
Well, they just had a big game last night. Took Charlotte to the wire. I think they had a lead. Charlotte again made a couple free throws, either with time running out or with no time on the clock, very little time on the clock, to win the game by 2. And so FAU again has proven that they are capable of beating anybody in this conference on a given night. And they'll be tougher at home than they are. They played Charlotte in Charlotte last night, so they'll be tougher on the road than they were at home. I'm sorry, they'll be tougher at home than they are on the road. They're capable of shooting the ball well from the perimeter. They've got number 32, Gaston, back, the post player inside. She was able to play here last time, so she's a tough back-to-the-basket player, but can beat you off the dribble as well. So, we've got to figure out how we're going to look and what we're going to play like without Maya, how that changes us. I don't think it changes us drastically, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not going to be different. It's going to be a little bit different. We've got to figure that out against a good team on their home court. And
I know that the last game, you guys got a lot of players to go in. Does that help at all with this new injury?
Well, that's part of why you play your bench. That's why you play deep. Is you never know on a given night who's going to be on, who's going to be off, who's going to be having a career night, who's going to be sick or turn an ankle. It doesn't have to be a season-ending injury. It can be something that's a little more temporary. But we've played 12 players multiple times this season, and I think that helps us, and it makes this team stronger, harder to guard, and tougher to beat.
Obviously, different personnel this time around facing FAU, like you said, Gaston back to that, Maya for you. Looking at defensively, that game holding, I believe, 49 points under 50, 33% from the field, 24% from 3. I guess defensively, how do you see things changing, with the different personnel out there this time?
Well, we're not going to be as long at the guard spot, obviously. But as far as what we do on defense, that's not going to change drastically. We'll have to tweak the lineup a little bit, and we might some roles on the court. But at the end of the day, we're still going to do what we do on defense, and it comes down to making sure we're doing a good job of getting that rebound so we can turn it the other way.
All right, Coach. On the last game against FAU, is there anything that you would like to repeat from that game, and anything that you would like to do different?
Yeah, the defense would be good. If we could hold them to to shooting those percentages from the floor, that would help us a whole lot. The main thing I want to see us do is continue to do. To continue to pour the effort that we're pouring into the defensive rebounds. I felt like Jalen Foster and Gabby McBride did a great job, got us off to a tremendous start in the last game. But Maya and Miru and Alexis also, it was a team effort rebounding. And so I'd like to see us continue to do that into this next game. And at some point, you guys, I keep saying it, but at some point we're going to have a good offensive night. One of these days we're going to play well on offense.
What do you consider a good offensive night? I remember listening to you on the radio a couple weeks back, and I think you told, I think Bro was still there, and at that point I think you were leading the conference and a lot of the offensive statistical categories. So
And we still are.
What do you consider, I guess, a good offensive night for you guys?
Not a third quarter scoring 6 points. If we skip that, then maybe we'll be a little bit. This team has a high ceiling. We've not, on the offensive end, we've not gotten close to it. We really haven't. And, we're pushing up on, I don't know what it was, Lillian, the number of threes, where we are exactly. We're tied for 9th, but I promise you, we've not had a good three-point shooting game yet. We haven't. And so at some point, they're going to become more comfortable in a game atmosphere, and they're going to shoot like they do in practice. And when that happens, it'll be a lot of fun to watch. So I think those are the two things I would love for us to play defense like we did last time, rebound like we did in the last game, and maybe shoot the ball like we can for the first time.
For you personally as a coach, every coach does take one game at a time. But at this point in the year, things kind of, getting down that home stretch, how much do you pay attention to the standings? Where you're trying to get that by in the first round tournament and stuff like that?
I mean, we always kind of look and see what the other conference teams are doing. But we kind of missed that opportunity by not winning the Charlotte game. So we're not in control anymore. All we can control is how we play that next game, and we've got to have a little bit of help someplace down the road. I do believe, I told the girls, I said I do believe that just like they've shown resiliency within the game, they've shown resiliency from game to game. I think if you just keep your focus forward and do your best, at some point we'll get another opportunity. It'll come back around. I believe that. So I mean, we've broken this. We're trying to break this up a little bit. This last part of the season into little segments. We've got young bodies. We got young players. This time last year they were playing high school ball, most of them, and so we're trying to break this up so that we can keep them as fresh and energized as we can, and make it not seem like we're trying to tackle 7 games at a time. So we're trying to break it up and have some little short seasons here.
All right, Coach. Talked to you many times, and you always touch a lot on effort. Do you think Maya's injury will rally the girls to play with more attitude or edge on the defensive end, offensive end?
Yeah, maybe it could. It could give them a little bit extra motivation to do it, like Gabby said, to do it for Maya. But I think this team plays like that anyway. And we've got a lot of players that just play like Miru plays. They just like Alexi Mead plays. Like they just play each possession like we're in the Final Four and this is for a chance to go to the national championship. And that's how they play. And that's what makes this team fun. That's why we get down in game. Or that's why we're able to come back when we're down. That's why it looks like maybe you think we're out of a game and then we're back in a game. And that's because they play with that passion. So maybe it gives them a little extra motivation, but I don't know that they would have played any differently if she hadn't got hurt.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right.